All right, welcome back to the channel. So Ryan Garcia, G-checks, Teofimo Lopez, man, saying, man, your belts don't mean ish. Stop ducking Devin Haney, and then we'll fight. I like Ryan Garcia a lot because he's a realist, I do believe. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Ryan Garcia was on an interview with somebody. I saw it on Twitter. He'll say the same thing in 15 different other places, so I'm quite sure you can find it. Ryan Garcia says, hey, man, I ain't fighting Teofimo next. Teofimo, anybody can get a belt. Right now, this is pretty much what he said. I'm not going to quote it. You can get it yourself. But what he said was, look, today, almost anybody can get a belt if you build them the right way. In fact, that's something that Leonard Ellerbe said about Steve Fulton and about a fight that's coming up in January 23rd, right? So Leonard Ellerbe, promoter for Floyd Mayweather Jr., points out, hey, man, there's a lot of belts going on around today. And if you build a fighter the right way, you can make them a champion. So, and you can make them a multi-belt divisional champion, especially when you don't have things like mandatories and when people will set up fights and allow you to get them and nobody else, right? Kind of like what Teofimo Lopez is going through right now. So Ryan Garcia says, no, thank you, Teofimo Lopez, man. I don't even care about fighting you. Who does that sound like? For real, who does that sound like? Somebody that's saying, hey, man, it's about the money. It's about the big fight. I'm the big draw. Gervonta's the big draw. I'm not really even trying to hear what you're talking about, Teofimo. Who does that sound like? That sounds like the PBC, doesn't it? That sounds just like Gervonta Davis, doesn't it? That sounds just like Leonard Ellerbe, doesn't it? Sounds just like Floyd Mayweather. They over there at the PBC are not talking about, let me put it this way. In boxing right now, from what I can see, you can either get a lot of accolades by Ring Magazine and ESPN, and this is for the big stars, for the big names. You can either have a marketing mechanism, which is expensive, by the way, driving your name, right? And growing you through the cash, throwing you out to the casuals, right? Or you can be ignored by ESPN, ignored by DAZN and the Ring Magazine and the likes, and you can actually go out there and make a lot of money. Because that's what Gervonta Davis is doing. That is what Errol Spence Jr. is doing. That's what Sean Porter's doing. That's what Keith Thurman is doing. That is what a whole lot of people at the PBC who have these dysfunctional relationships with the press have been doing. So it seems to me, and I've said this in other videos, that Ryan Garcia is choosing to make some money. So he says, I would rather fight Gervonta Tank Davis because I know that that is a huge fight. Why would I waste my time fighting with you, Teofimo Lopez? Because it's not a huge fight, right? Now, he may say that in terms of the belts, right? But if Ryan was focused on the belts, then he would say, hey, I want those belts. But he's not. He's saying, I want that money. That sounds like somebody that is influenced by Floyd Mayweather Jr., because that's exactly what Floyd Mayweather Jr. was saying maybe 2 months ago when he was saying, get rid of all of these belts. It's ridiculous. That is a top-down response that hit Ryan Garcia. And the reason that I'm saying that is because I am pretty sure that Ryan Garcia at a point is going to work with the PBC, just like Canelo when he gets done fighting these tomato cans they got at DAZN. Because if you look at how boxing is going, there's two groups of people to me from the outside looking in that look like they got money. And that is MTK Global and the PBC. They're the ones that look like they actually have money. Everybody else looks like they're cutting back. These guys look like they're actually expanding. Well, actually, MTK Global in the U.S. looks like they're expanding with minor signings and things like that. But the PBC with 2 networks and all that, dude, that's where Ryan Garcia is going to head. And that puts Teofimo Lopez in a really funny position because there's almost nothing Teofimo Lopez can do at Top Rank to legitimately grow his name in the sport. Legitimately. I'm not talking about articles written by Mark Kragel or good words said by Max Kellerman. Dude, Max Kellerman and Mark Kragel can only buy one pay-per-view. And they're not going to buy that because their company probably is going to send them a tape. All right, so they're not buying any fights, even though they're giving you all those accolades, hoping that they can get somebody to buy your fight. No, your fans are going to be the ones that are going to buy your fights. And Teofimo Lopez just doesn't have any. I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't have any. Obviously, he has some, but they're not. Relative to, when you compare that to Gervonta Davis, no, he doesn't. Teofimo Lopez, see, this is what I'm saying, where they you have a choice to either go to the PBC and work your way to become a star, or you go over there to ESPN, and if you're really, really good as an amateur and they really like you and they like how you look and all that, then they will make you a star even though you ain't earned it. But the problem with that is that Teofimo Lopez, they're just saying you're a star. You have no actual money to prove, to put behind it. So what's the solution to this? The solution is what Ryan Garcia is saying. Teofimo Lopez, fight Devin Haney. Don't duck Devin Haney thinking that you're going to get don't duck Devin Haney. Fight Devin Haney, and then the winner of Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, if that fight happens, I still don't believe that's going to happen. I still believe it's a lot of hype, but regardless, if that truly happens, then Teofimo Lopez, if he beats Devin Haney, would be in a position to get that fight. But that can't happen. Why can't it happen? Because Bob Arum is not going to allow it to happen. Because if Bob Arum would have allowed that to happen, Bob Arum is not going to allow that fight to happen unless he is, what did he say? 80% confident that Teofimo Lopez can win the fight. I promise you he's not 80% confident about that. That's why the fight's not going to happen, because there's a chance Teofimo can lose. Same reason a fight with Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko, the rematch isn't going to happen, because Lomachenko has a legitimate chance to beat him. And ESPN just wants to take it off the table. They want to take off the table the likelihood that their star that they're trying to sell is not going to make it, because he can lose, which is the same reason I do believe that they don't care that Tyson Fury cheated. Because if Tyson Fury wouldn't have cheated in the first fight, in the second fight, he would have lost. And definitely the first fight, because he had a glove extended. And if Deontay Wilder would have known what was going on with that glove, he would have forced that glove to be put on, and Tyson Fury would have gotten a few inches shorter in that fight. But, it is what it is. You guys can believe what you want to believe. I'm going to believe what I want to believe. But the fact of the matter remains this. Teofimo Lopez is not a star, man. He's not a big name in the sport. They're trying to make him a big name in the sport. Most of the people that I see trying to big up and trying to really get behind Teofimo Lopez, dude, you guys are just upset that people ain't just praising the guy because he got 3 belts. But we know, everybody knows that that most of those belts are trash. And we're sitting with the WBC with 3 champions in the same division. But people are saying, that the WBC says it's Teofimo that's the real champion. And then I'll read where Mauricio Sulaiman says I'm not in it. I don't understand how a guy that would give 3 different people the same belt in the same weight class. Mauricio Sulaiman gave 3 people 3 belts in the same weight class and expect them to fight each other. Why in the world would Ryan Garcia fight? First of all, why would Ryan Garcia, if he's the interim champ, why would he fight Devin Haney, who's the regular champ, if the franchise championship is what matters? And why would he fight the franchise champion when the franchise champion ain't a star and he ain't gonna get ain't gonna get nearly the money he would for fighting a guy at 130 pounds moving up for the WBA regular belt? Anyway, I can respect Ryan Garcia and what he's saying here regarding Teofimo Lopez. There ain't no doubt in my mind what Teofimo Lopez needs to do next. And it's only, his options, his legit options are Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko. My understanding is that he's got an IBF mandatory coming up that he has to defend. That's reasonable. It's some trash can fighter out of Australia, but whatever. Honestly, it's funny how many Australian fighters get shots at top rank fights. But anyway, it is what it is. That's my take on the matter. I think it's hilarious. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.